Have you ever had a dream so real you swear it actually happened? Like waking up in a panic because you missed an exam that took place 10 years ago. But usually these dream states only last for short periods. But not for Mitch. Mitch had a very different experience. Welcome to Strange as Fiction, where we explore stories from fiction that may seem too incredible, abnormal, or downright bizarre, but in reality have already happened to actual people. In the movie The Matrix, starring Keanu Reeves, Laurence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss, Gloria Foster, and Hugo Weaving, amongst others, Neo spends his life thinking he's just a savvy tech guy grinding away in the rat race, only to wake up and realize he's actually a battery for evil machines. But even in his artificial life, something always felt off. Just like the strange red lamp that kept haunting Mitch. In Mitch's last semester at college, he was, let's say, bodily displaced by a 325-pound football player who wasn't thrilled that 120-pound Mitch was walking in the same space where he was trying to drive. But here's where it gets wild. While unconscious, Mitch saw another life, a whole different, fully lived out existence. This is how he told his story.
I met a wonderful young lady, Kayla. She made my heart skip and my face red. I pursued her for months and dispatched a few jerk boyfriends before I finally won her over. After 2 years, we got married, and almost immediately she bore me a daughter. I had a great job and my wife didn't have to work outside of the house. When my daughter was 2, Kayla bore me a son. My son was the joy of my life. I would walk into his room every morning before I left for work and doted on him and my daughter. One day while sitting on the couch, I noticed that the perspective of the lamp was odd, like inverted. It was still in 3D, but just wrong. I was transfixed. I couldn't look away from it. I stayed up all night staring at it. The next morning, I didn't go to work. Something was just not right about that lamp. I stopped eating. I left the couch only to use the bathroom at first. Soon I stopped that too, as I wasn't eating or drinking. I stared at the lamp for 3 days before my wife got really worried. She had someone come and try to talk to me. By this time, my cognizance was breaking up and my wife was freaking out. She took the kids to her mother's house just before I had my epiphany. The lamp started to grow wider and deeper. It was still inverted dimensions. It took up my entire perspective and all I could see was red. I heard voices, screams, all kinds of weird noises, and I became aware of pain. A ton of pain. The first words I said were, "I'm missing teeth," and opened my eyes. I was laying on my back on the sidewalk, surrounded by people that I didn't know. Lots were freaking out. I was completely confused. At some point, a cop scooped me up, dragged, walked me across the sidewalk and grass, and threw me face down in the back of a cop car. I was still confused. I was taken to the hospital by the cop. Seems he didn't want to wait for the ambulance to arrive. And given CT scans. I went through about 3 years of horrid depression. I was grieving the loss of my wife and children and dealing with the knowledge that they never existed. I was scared that I was going insane as I would cry myself to sleep, hoping I would see her in my dreams. I never have, but sometimes I see my son, usually just a glimpse out of my peripheral vision. He is perpetually 5 years old, and I can never hear what he says. The lamp was not real. The house was not real. My wife, my kids. None of that was real. The last 10 years of my life were not real.
You may have heard the story of Mitch and Kayla, but it still boggles the mind to think about it. If you would like to see more Strange as Fiction stories, then smash that like and notification like Neo punching Agent Smith. And subscribe so you don't miss any episode. Thanks for watching, and remember, reality is just another script. See you soon.
You ever have that feeling where you're not sure if you're awake or still dreaming?
All the time.